Hi, I'm Jeff Sachs at Columbia University, and very grateful to be part of your important conference today, Regional Conference on Sustainable Development. I was, of course, hoping to be with you in person, but near to the last moment, I was asked as part of my UN responsibilities to be in Seoul for a pre-Olympics event on sustainable development, indeed, and therefore I can't join you in person, but am thankful that you're allowing me to join by video. Thank you to Grace Farms Foundation and Live Green Connecticut and all of the participants for taking on the challenge of sustainable development in Connecticut and in New England and in the U.S. Northeast. This is extremely important. We're a little bit blocked right now in Washington, but our regions have great vigor. We know that cities and states throughout the United States are still pursuing the challenge to make our economies more fair and more environmentally sustainable. And New England, without question, is a leader of our national effort. You know, the whole world adopted the concept of sustainable development, the United States included, in 2015 when the 17 Sustainable Development Goals were adopted. And a few weeks after that event, in December 2015, the whole world got together and adopted the Paris Climate Agreement, which aims to keep human-induced global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius, and even aiming to achieve an upper limit of 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to the pre-industrial Earth temperature. Well, we know that these are urgent objectives. The Sustainable Development Goals are urgent for creating societies that are socially just and environmentally sustainable, for protecting biodiversity, and for supporting the effort to decarbonize our energy system so that we achieve the Paris climate objectives. And we also know that Washington is not very helpful right now, to say the least, because it's in the hands of powerful lobbies. The oil and gas industry and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce have been nothing but irresponsible during these years, when they should be saying, we've got to move quickly to protect the environment and protect future generations. They're not only dragging their feet, but using their lobbying power to induce Donald Trump to say that he's going to pull the United States out of the Paris Climate Agreement, for example. I don't think they're going to do that. I think Americans will speak up and say, no, we're not going to be alone in the world. We want sustainable development. And I think it behooves all of us to do everything we can to ensure sustainable development of our region, of the country, and to raise our voices that these are the goals that are core for American well-being and indeed for world well-being. In addition to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, I've been involved with candidates around the United States in identifying the priorities among the SDGs for the United States. We call them America's Goals. You could find the 7 America's Goals online at americasgoals.org. In either variant, whether it's the 17 SDGs or the 7 America's Goals, these are commitments to make our society not only rich, but fair and environmentally sustainable. One of the challenges I hope that you take on in the meeting today is to accelerate the transition to a zero carbon energy system for the U.S. Northeast. We have abundant onshore and offshore wind, we have abundant solar energy, and we have abundant hydroelectric potential, including the vast potential of Upper Quebec that is already bringing clean, zero-carbon electricity to our region. We know that by 2050 it's possible to be all renewable with electric vehicles, with electric heat pumps, heating our homes and our buildings, and with the entire electric grid being powered by zero carbon energy sources. Some of my colleagues have been engaged in looking at pathways to that zero carbon energy system for our region. There will be some reports made public, I think, quite soon on some excellent analyses of how we can get from here to where we need to be in 2050. One of the hallmarks of sustainable development, indeed, is to think ahead and to think for the longer term, not just for the morning tweet, the daily stock market fluctuation, or the quarterly GDP account, but to think ahead a dozen years to 2030, to think ahead to mid-century, so that we help to create the kind of society that we want and that we really want for our children and our grandchildren and for future generations of America. One of my great joys as serving as special advisor to United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the Sustainable Development Goals is that I direct a worldwide network of universities called the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, which is bringing together the world of knowledge and expertise of universities and think tanks to work together with city governments, with state governments, with regional governments, national governments around the world to think ahead and to identify those pathways to sustainable development. Later this year, we'll be launching a United States chapter of SDSN. And I want to say in closing that I would like the participants at this meeting, I believe David Downey, a great friend and colleague for many, many years at Fairfield University, is there. I would love for Fairfield University to be an active and strong member of the United States SDSN. Yale University with my longtime colleague and friend Dan Esty and other leaders of sustainable development at Yale, my university, Columbia University, and all of the great colleges and universities of New England. I hope you will join this effort. We need to bring good, honest, unbiased, technically smart, and morally smart thinking to bear on finding our pathways as a country and making sure that America remains a constructive part of global problem solving. So that will be the U.S. chapter of SDSN. We'll be launching it later this year, and I hope that you'll get involved. Thank you so much for letting me join you. All best wishes on your important meeting, and I look forward very much to seeing many, I hope all of you in person sometime very, very soon. All best wishes and thanks.